everybody, this is Jordan Machado, aspiring biologist and hopefully a future herpetologist. And we are going to address a question that we get from a lot of people, especially while we're at expos and even online when we're talking to new customers. How do you feed your hognose snake? Step 1. Most hognoses, especially ours, will be established on unscented, frozen, thawed. So here we have a bag of pinkies. Put it in a cardboard box. It's usually worth it to get yourself a chest freezer, which is what we do. So instead of having the yucky stuff with our people food, we just have a bunch of feeders in here. Step 2 is to make sure you have something to thaw it out. The reason being, you don't want to give them something frozen because nobody wants to eat a frozen meal and they can't really digest something that's frozen. So we need to thaw it out. All you need is a dedicated cup, bucket, bowl, or something that you want to use just for reptiles. So we actually use this one, and I'm going to go ahead and write on it with a Sharpie, reptiles. Put a little heart on there. So this is going to be our little reptile thawing bucket. So how much water do you need to put, and how hot should it be? Honestly, if it's hot for you, it's probably good. You just don't want it to be boiling hot. You don't want to boil their food. You don't want to cook it. All you want to do is thaw it out. So honestly, warm to like hot-ish water. You don't want it to be burning your fingers. And you just go ahead and fill it up. You want to be able to cover completely the meal and maybe have it be able to move around a little bit. And then once you have that, you're going to take your pinky and bloop, pop it in the water. And you're going to leave it there for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then afterwards, you're going to want to grab it, check it, and I'll show you how to check for cold spots. After that time has passed, you're going to grab your feeding tongs. You're going to go ahead and pull that out. You want to just make sure it's not cold or still frozen. Once you make sure that's good to go, let's go feed a hognose.
Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and do some tippy taps to let him know that it is food time. You can see he's looking around. Now I'm going to go ahead and move the pinky just a little bit to see when I can get his attention. I try to go on both sides of his eyes. Oh, there we go. So now that he's looked at it, I let him kind of focus in. Then I'm just going to do a little bit of a jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Oh, there we go. Feeding response. And that is good. And we're going to let him eat here in peace. I moved the clutter just so that we could see him better for the video. But this is the little baby bin that we use for babies. So let's move on to a more difficult kind of feeding. So over here we have a Huffy boy. So as you can see, I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm offering, but he is just not having it. I didn't move the clutter because he kind of needs it. Well, I'll show you why. So some of them will actually eat if you keep offering. You just kind of have to let them sniff it. But in his case, he's not having it, so we're just going to go ahead and leave it in here for him. And then we check on in later, and lo and behold, he is eating his meal inside his enclosure.
And that's just about going to cover it, guys. These are the basics on pretty much how to feed your hognose. You want to thaw it out. You want to make sure it's not frozen. Offer it on feeding tongs. If they're not super into feeding tongs, just leave the meal in there and chances are they will eat it within like half an hour, or they'll just eat it overnight. That's also a thing. Feed them inside their enclosures. You don't want to stress them out, but we do also have some extra feeding tips, such as how to brain a pinky, which really triggers a huge feeding response in the large majority of babies. And also, when things get really, really rough, we do have a video on how to assist feed a baby hognose. But that's going to be everything, guys. Check out those videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and all of those awesome things. Feel free to let me know if any of this helped or if you have any other questions that I would love to get to. You ready to say bye-bye?